Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Robin from Move More, Live Better, and I'm a physical therapist, a yoga and Pilates instructor, and I have over 20 years of experience helping people move and feel their best. I have for you today a beginner / early intermediate Pilates class, but of course the great thing about Pilates is that you can always level up or level down, work harder or easier depending on how you're feeling today. Of course, always make sure that you move within your capacity and listen to your body. Always make sure that you're not working at a level that's too high that you can't control it, but at the same time you do want to make sure you work hard enough to challenge yourself, because of course that's how you will get stronger. So when you're ready, roll out your mat and let's get started. Right, we're going to start by coming onto our hands and knees into our spinal balance position. We're going to start by warming up the spine. So just drawing your navel towards your spine, finding a nice flat back. And then we're going to start with a few rounds of cat-cow. So drawing your tummy muscles up, you're going to arch your back up. Nice stretch through your upper back. And then reversing it. So shining your chest forward. And again, curling up. And stretching, keep this nice and active, so maintaining your navel towards your spine, really warming up the vertebrae, warming up all the joints in your back. Breathing in, and then breathing out to curl up. Last time, shining your chest forward. And coming now into a neutral spine. So we're going to continue the warm up for our core muscles in our spine. So stretching your right leg back. You can stay here if that's enough for you, or you can stretch your right arm forward for balance. For 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to use our center. Use your core muscles to draw your elbow and your knee together to touch underneath you. For 1. And stretch. Keep this nice and slow and controlled. 2. And one more time. This is a really great warm up for your spine and your core muscles. And placing both hand and foot down. We're going to go straight away on the other side. So stretching your left arm back, right arm forward, and balancing for 3, 2, 1. Using those tummy muscles to initiate the movement, tapping elbow to knee, and extend, and 2, extend, last time, 3, find your balance, and placing arm and knee back down. Reset your spine. We're going to come into a thread the needle stretch as well. So you can stay here if you want. If you want to continue the balance challenge, you can also extend your toes. So I'm just barely touching my toes just to give me a little bit of stability. But stay on your knee if you want to. So stretching your left arm up to the ceiling. And then using your tummy muscles to stabilize your spine. Reaching through. And again, stretching high. And reaching through. Last time, stretching up and reaching through and coming back to center, switching sides on hands and knees if you want. If you want a slight more challenge, extending the left leg back, right arm up and threading that arm through, lifting up and reaching through. Last time, we're reaching up. Threading that arm through and coming back to center and coming down. Crossing over your ankles, coming to a seat and rolling down through your spine. So let's have a nice good Pilates roll down, sitting up nice and tall, reaching your arms forward. If you need that little bit of extra support, you can use the hands around the backs of your thighs, reaching forward and rolling down, one vertebrae at a time. And coming onto your back. Now pressing the backs of your arms onto the mat. Walk your heels closer to you. We're going to come into some pelvic curls and roll ups into a bridge. So drawing your tummy muscles in. Let's just start with the bottom of the movement. So just pressing your lumbar spine into the mat. Just lifting your tailbone off. And bring it back down. making sure that the movement is coming from right deep down into your lower abs and your core and your pelvic floor muscles as well. Lifting up and down. One more time with just the pelvic curl and the tailbone lift. And lower. And we're now going to take it all the way up into a full bridge. So really make sure you articulate this bridge. So trying to roll up one vertebrae at a time, lifting nice and high through your hips, and rolling back down one vertebrae at a time. Let's do that 2 more times. So tucking your tailbone under to start with, peeling your spine off the mat, lifting up, pause at the top, and then roll back down one vertebrae at a time, back onto the mat. And last time, rolling up. We're going to stay nice and high this time. So you can stay here if that's enough for you. If you'd like to join me, we're going to float our arms up to the ceiling, right up overhead. Keep your hips nice and lifted, and then floating your arms back down along your sides. Don't forget to keep those lower abs drawing in, pressing through the backs of your legs, floating the arms over the head, and floating your arms back down by your sides. Last time, we're reaching both arms up, float them right up over your head, leaving your arms over your head as you roll back down through your spine. Good, and floating your arms back down along your sides. So we're going to start now feeling that imprint of the spine. So drawing your tummy muscles in, down, in and up, and pressing your lumbar spine onto the mat. Now hold that lumbar spine on the mat as you lift one knee up to a tabletop position and the other knee. So your lower abs should be really engaged now, and your back should be pressing down into the mat. We're just going to start with some little switches here. So leaving that right angle at your knees, you're just going to tap and lift and tap and lift. We're going to go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Holding your legs in the tabletop position. Keep pressing your back into the mat, rolling up your chest and the head now. And we're just going to do little reaches here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lower your head and chest. Lower your legs one at a time. We should have our core muscles and our spine nice and warmed up now. So we're going to take that into a little bit of a combo. You can have a watch first if you want, or you can join me straight away. We're going to lift our legs back up to that tabletop position. You're going to lift your head and chest up. You're going to tap one knee and up, and the other knee and up. And then you're going to pulse and lower, but you're not going all the way down. So we have tap and lift. Let's keep going. 4, 6. And 5. And 4. And lift. And 3. And lift. Just 2 more. And lift. Last one. So tap and lift. Good. Lower your head and chest and draw your knees in. Just give your knees a little bit of a wobble around if you need to, just relaxing out your lower back. Good. So we're going to have one more variation, one more little challenge there for that one. Bringing your knees back up to a tabletop position, lifting your head and chest. What we're going to do this time is a tap and reach sideways. So we're engaging those oblique muscles back to the center. So we have tap, reach to the side. Let's keep going for tap, and reach, and tap, and reach. Keep those abs drawing in. Tap, reach side, and tap, and reach. Just 2 more, so 1 more each side, and tap, and reach. Last one, tap, and and reach. Good. Lowering head and chest and drawing in your knees. Well done, everybody. So placing your feet back on the floor. We're going to come now straight away into a modified crisscross. So bringing your hands behind your head. We're going to bring our right, let's start with our right knee. So bring your right knee up and we're going to extend it long at the high diagonal. And you're just going to reach across and tapping left elbow to right knee. So we have tap and lower. So it's a level down of a standard crisscross, but really focusing on using those obliques, so using the side of your waist to lift you. We're here for just 5 more. 5 and lower. And 4. Done properly. This should actually be quite challenging on those oblique muscles. 2 and 1. Good. Leave your head and chest lifted. We're going to flex that foot. Lower, point, and lift. And lower, point, and lift. Keep going for 6 and 5. Keep those abs drawing in. And 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Draw that knee in. Give that hip flexor a little bit of a rest. And we're going to go straight away onto the other side. So bringing your hands back behind your head, lifting your left knee up, extend it to a high diagonal. Make sure those abs are still engaged. Your deep abdominals are pulling in and up. And we're going to tap our right elbow to our left knee for 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Last one. Hold that head and chest up. Flex your foot. And we have lower, just hover and lift for 8, 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. And draw that knee in. Rest that hip flexor for a minute. Well done, everybody. Bring your arms now to a wide capital T position. Make sure those abs are drawing in and up still. I know I say that all the time, but it's so important in Pilates. Bring your knees back up to that tabletop position, and we're going to come into a standard spinal twist. One of my favorite exercises for spinal health, for helping back pain, and just generally keeping everything in your core nice and healthy. So using your abdominal muscles to initiate the movement and control the movement. Lowering your knees to the front of the room. Only as far as you can with control. Using your abdominals to bring your knees back up through center. And to the other side. Lowering those knees down. And using the core to bring them back up. Let's keep going here. Try to make sure your knees stay stacked over top of your hips, and then you don't pull your knees in towards your chest too much. It's actually a lot easier, and it becomes much easier to just use momentum. When your knees stay over top of your hips, you have to keep the engagement in your abdominals much stronger. So just keep going. Seeing if every time you do it, you can get those knees that little bit lower, but only lower those knees so far that you can control them and bring them back up. You should never let gravity take over in this movement. And up. And lowering down. And back up. We're going to do one more time each side. So lowering down. And up. And lower. And up. Right, we're going to add on a little bit here. So lower to the front of the room. Now only lower as far as you can hold with control. So if your knees feel really high, that's fine. But you're going to drop your bottom knee and squeeze it up for 8. And up. And 7. Keep those abs engaged. 6. And 5. And 4. and 3, and 2, and 1, and straight away onto the other side. Really hard to lift those legs after they've been dropped for a while, so lowering your legs the other way, hovering that knee for 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And use those abdominals to draw yourself back up. Good. Use your abdominals to pull those knees in and hugging in. Should feel like your core muscles are nice and strong and on fire now. We've just got one more little serious challenge for your abs. So we're just going to do a standard single leg stretch. So if you're new to single leg stretch, leave your head and chest on the floor, and you're just going to extend your one leg to a high diagonal, and then you're going to swap it out. If you want to level it up a little bit, you're going to curl your head and shoulders off the mat. And of course, the higher your knee goes, so if you're new to this, again, keep your leg extending nice and high. If you want more of a challenge, you're going to extend your knee lower to the floor. So pick your level and set yourself up, draw your deep abdominals in nice and tight, and we have 10, and 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good, and draw your knees in. Lowering one foot and the other. Now, we wouldn't have a good proper Pilates class without some roll-ups. So roll-ups, very challenging, particularly if you're new to Pilates. So if you need some help, using the backs of your thighs to help you. If you want the full challenge, it's stretching your legs long and arms up over your head. I'm going to demonstrate first with the slightly easier version, and then I'll demonstrate the advanced version as well. So reaching your arms up over your head. Breathe in to float your arms up. Breathe out to curl up. Using your hands to help you if you need. Lifting all the way up, nice and tall. And then we're going to reverse it. Reaching forward. Pull that tummy muscles in to find your C curve. And rolling back down, one vertebrae at a time. Breathing out. Then breathing in to float your arms up. And breathing out. Now I'm going to demonstrate not using my hands. Reaching up. And curling those tummy muscles in to find your C curve and rolling back down. Arms over your head. And this time I'm going to demonstrate with long legs, so floating your arms up and breathing out to roll up and reaching nice and tall. Let's do that one more time. C curve, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Float your arms over your head. Last time we're going to stay up. Breathing in, arms go up. Breathing out to curl your head, chest and neck up, reaching nice and high. And then we're just going to dive forward over our toes into a spinal stretch. And sitting up nice and tall. Just going to shuffle back so you can see me a bit. We're going to come into our saw. So feet mat width apart. Make sure your quad muscles are nice and engaged, so pulling up your knees. We're going to reach our arms out to the side. Now again, this movement should come from your tummy muscles. You can have your toes pointed or flexed, but make sure they're active, so they're not just floppy and relaxed. Either actively flex or actively point. Movement coming from your tummy muscles. You're going to twist and reach. Restack your spine. Come center. And twist and reach. Come center. Again, twist and reach. And up and center. And twist and reach. Sit tall in the center. 2 more each side. So always remembering this movement comes from the core muscles. And twist and reach. Last time, twist and reach. And up and center. Good. Drawing your legs together, reaching up tall. We're going to come back into our C curve, so bend your knees, using your hands to help you if you'd like, or if you'd like to roll down without your hands, please do. All the way back down, just shuffling back down on my mat. Right, we're going to just do a bit of work for the fronts of your hips, and one last little challenge for your deep abdominals. I say last challenge, but then those deep abdominals should be working for the whole of a Pilates class. So let's start by extending your right leg up to the ceiling. So don't worry if you can't quite get it all the way straight, but you are working towards straight. Now you're trying to keep your pelvis nice and flat. So both sit bones and the back of the pelvis is heavy on the floor, so you want to avoid being here. If your leg doesn't quite go straight, that's all right. If it's a little bit more towards the diagonal, that's okay as well. But we're going to just draw little circles on the ceiling for 8, 7. Keep drawing those deep abdominals in. You should feel the front of the thigh and the front of the hip working very hard. And I've lost count. And let's just do 8 the other direction for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Flex that foot. You're going to lower it all the way down. We're going to do similar to what we did earlier, but a bit speedier. Point and lift. So flex, lower, point, and lift. Nothing is happening in your pelvis. It's only the leg moving. So keep that abdominals really controlled. Avoid letting your tailbone rock up and down too much. Just 2 more. And last one. Good. Okay, bend that knee, place that foot back on the floor. We're going straight away on the other side, so extending the other leg up towards the ceiling, working that knee towards straight, lowering it down a little bit if you can't quite get that vertical alignment. That doesn't matter too much. It's all about making sure the muscles in your thighs are nice and strong. Little circles for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reversing it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And our faster full leg kick. So flex that foot. And we have 8 and 7. Keep those abdominals really still. 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Draw that knee, place that foot back on the floor, and we're going to come onto the side of our hips now. So, bending both knees to start with. We're going to start with a classic clam. So you can be here or here. If you are here, avoid really collapsing down. Try to stay nice and long. It's lifted even a bit through the other side. Classic clams, so your feet are staying glued together, and you can either leave your feet on the ground, or if you want a slightly harder challenge, you can lift your feet up. Now, again, nothing happens in your pelvis. I will often have people even put their hand on their pelvis so you can feel that it's not wobbling all around. So you're just squeezing from deep in your glutes to open those knees and down. Again, nothing's happening in your pelvis. 3, getting as much movement as you can in that top knee without letting that pelvis rock backwards at all. And even making sure you squeeze the glutes a little bit at the end. And 2, and 1. Good. Lower those feet back down if they're up. Extend the top leg long. Now this time, make sure your toes and kneecap are facing forward. Hip is still nice and still. And we're just going to tap and lift. So a standard side leg lift. And 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Hold it nice and high. You're going to draw your knee in towards your chest and extend and lower and lift. That's it for 2. Really getting into the side of the hip. And 3, and 4, and 5, 2 or 3 more, 6, and 7, Keep that pelvis nice and still. 8. Good. Last little push. Hold that leg there. We're just going to do little circles for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. That hip should be burning. Bring those feet back together. Give it a little rub because we have another set of your clams. So always good to throw in that second set. Lift your feet if you want, pulling those tummy muscles in to stabilize your pelvis. We have 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6, all coming from the glutes, from the back of the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lower with control. Give that hip a bit of a rub if you want. We're going to come straight away around to the other side. So swing it around on your mat, or if you want to just listen to me, you can roll to the other side. So head in your hand, lifted if you want, or long on the floor if you'd like, but stay nice and lifted, really tight through the center. We're going to start with our clams. So lifting your feet, hand on your hip to feel that stability if you'd like, or more stability by putting your hand on the floor. We have 10 and 9 and 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lowering those feet, extending that leg long, toes and kneecap all facing forward. We're just going to have standard side leg lifts to start with for 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it high, drawing that knee in towards your chest for 8, and tap it down, and 7, and 6. Keep those core muscles pulling in. 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. Last one. And hold that leg nice and high. We're going to finish with our circles for 8, 7, 6, 5. Embrace the burn. My hip is shaking too. And reversing those circles for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lowering that, restacking those knees, give that hip a bit of a rub if you need, because we're just burning out the glutes with that second set of clams. So lifting your feet if you want, pelvis, core muscles pulled in nice and tight. We have 10 and 9 and 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Good. Well done, everybody. That was a challenging section on your hips. So we're going to just finish with our mermaid stretch. So good for the rotation of your hips. Good to stretch out after all of that hip work. So just reaching over to one side and then reaching across to the other. We're going to keep this active today. So we're going to keep flowing. Nice big active stretch here for the hips and the side body. Two more. Hope you can all see me all right in the bright sunshine. When I started, it was really wet and cloudy. Swing your legs over to the other side. If you can't see, then just listen to my voice. So we're going to start stretching over into that mermaid stretch and over, keeping it nice and active today. Stretching through the side body and through the hips. One side will always feel looser than the other. It's one of my favorite stretches in Pilates. I absolutely love the mermaid stretch. I get really tight through my side body. Last one each side. Good. Right, we're going to come now onto our front, so we're going to be working our back body now. So coming onto your front, we're just going to start by warming up our spine. So gluing the tops of your feet to the mat, lifting up through your abdominal muscles to protect your lower back, squeezing your glutes slightly, and then just lifting up your head and chest. Just a little low lift to start with, and coming back down. And lifting, and lower. And last time, lifting up. See if you can just hover your hands off the mat for 3, 2, and 1, and lower back down. Now, stretching your arms over your head, you're going to lift your top half of your body. So scooping up your abdominals, try and keep your head in a nice line. Try to avoid looking at the screen once you get the movement. So scooping up your abdominals, you're just going to lift your chest and arms and lower. It's not important how high you lift. It's important that the movement is coming from your back muscles. So keep your shoulder blades drawing down your back. Avoid hunching your shoulders up towards your ears. We've just got 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. You can leave your arms overhead if you want, or you can bring your forehead on top of your hands if you'd rather, because we're going to lift the lower half now for 8. And 7. So lifting from your glutes and from your lower back doesn't have to be high. It's about making sure that the muscles are lifting and that there's no pinching in your spine and that there's no momentum. I've completely lost count again. Let's just do 1 more. Okay. Now you can stay with top half and lower half, or you can join me in lifting everything. If you want to do the slightly easier version, just lift your top half and then your lower half. So you'll just lift up and lift. If you want to join me in lifting everything, really good for strengthening your spine and strengthening your back muscles. We're just going to do 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Hold it at the top. We're just going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and lower down. Good. And press back into your child pose stretch. Well done, everybody. Obviously, it's really important to make sure you strengthen the muscles of your spine as well as the muscles of your front body. Strengthening the muscles of your spine is one of the best ways you can help prevent back pain or even help cure back pain. When people have back pain, they're often given tummy muscle exercises or stretches, which can be helpful, but if you really want to get on top of the pain in your back, getting those muscles in your spine stronger is one of the best things you can do. Okay, coming back onto your front, coming back onto your back, we're just going to finish with a little bit of bridging, so rolling back down. Last little bit of challenge for today, and then we are going to be stretching it out. So last bit of muscle work, although if you find stretching hard, you'll find the last bit hard too, obviously. So gluing the backs of your arms onto the mat, bring your heels towards your glutes, tucking those pelvic muscles in, lifting up through your back. Now lifting nice and high this time. So squeezing your glutes at the top. And just holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keep your knees in line with your hips. So imagine you've got one of those Pilates balls and you're squeezing it in. Try not to let your knees splay out to the side. We're just going to do little pulses. So some little squeezes at the top here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold those hips nice and high. Lift your heels for 8 and lower, and 7 and 6, and 5. Working the backs of your legs. 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lower those heels, reset your hips nice and high with those hips. Now we're going to lift our toes for 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting up, reset those hips, and then slowly lowering back down. Good. Walk your feet mat width apart and bring your arms to either a cactus or a capital T position, and you're just going to windshield wiper your knees side to side. So relaxing out that lower back, stretching out the hips and the glutes a bit. Well done. Now, it's always important that we finish our Pilates class with some upper body work. Classic way to finish the Pilates class is the roll downs into the push-ups. But what we're going to do today is always important that we finish our Pilates class with some upper body work. The classic way to finish a Pilates class is you roll down into your press-ups. Well, we're just going to do some little tricep dips and then some little push-ups to finish today. So obviously picking your level, but we really all need to be working our muscles as well as our core and our legs. So bringing your feet close into your glutes, elbows are going to go back. You're going to pull in your core muscles, drive up through your heels to lift those hips nice and high. Then just little bends of the elbows, elbows going straight back for little dips for 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. See if you can hold your hips nice and high. Stretch one leg forward if you can, and lower back down. Stretching the other leg, and lower, and then tap your hips and lift. Try and keep your weight nice and over your shoulders, so it's really your shoulders and arms doing the work. 4, lift, and tap your hips. Last one, lift, and tap, and lift. Good. Well done. Just the push-ups to finish, so coming around to your front. Now, you certainly, if you are somebody with a nice good upper body, do full press-ups. I'll demonstrate knee press-ups. Let's try and keep our arms nice and wide today rather than doing our standard tricep push-ups, because we've just worked our triceps quite a lot. We're just going to do wide arm push-ups for today. Just 8, but try and do 8 really quality ones. So, coming onto your knees, if you want to come to a full press-up position, please do. If you want to do it on your knees, we will go for 8. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And stretch back. Well done, everybody. Just finish here by walking your hands over to the left or over to one side, so you're getting a nice side body stretch. And trying to slow down your breathing. And walking your hands to the other side. And coming up onto a seat, bring the soles of your feet together. So sitting up nice and tall, just letting gravity drop your hips out to the side. And then if you'd like, hinging forward. We're trying to keep your spine nice and long, and trying not to collapse forward. We're stretching up nice and tall with your spine and just hinging forward from the hips. And I'm coming back up. Now my favorite pretzel stretch, which often gets people muddled, but bring the sole of one foot over top of the knee of the other foot. Now you're going to grab hold of that knee and twist. So twisting your spine towards the knee that is up. And we're looking out behind you. So you're getting a nice twist in your spine, and you're also getting a stretch along the outside of your leg. We did a lot of hip work, so good to stretch out your hips here. And swapping over other side, so other foot comes over the top. Grab hold of that knee with the opposite arm, so I've got my left knee and my right arm, and twist towards the knee that is up. Other hand out behind you, twisting your spine. And coming back, so let's send both legs forward, reaching up nice and tall, lifting up and over, and grabbing hold of whatever is accessible to you, whether it's your knees, your shins, your feet, wherever you are is fine, as long as you're feeling a stretch. And just stretching down through the backs of your legs. Now here, let's lift up nice and tall, so you're stretching long, chest towards your legs. And then, once you've got that position, then go ahead and drop down. So you're stretching out your back and the backs of your legs at the same time. And just nice, slow, deep breaths to finish. And finish there. Right, thank you for joining me today. I hope you found that class challenging but accessible and enjoyable. So please be sure to subscribe and like and share, and leave a comment below if you have any class suggestions or anything that you'd like to see more of.